Academies are independent, state-funded schools which receive their funding directly from central government rather than through a local authority. The day-to-day running of the school is under the head teacher or principal, but they are overseen by body school academy trusts and may be part of an academy chain. Mr Bhutta became head teacher when Stepney Green School was in special measures. It is now a high-performing school. It has made this change while staying a maintained school under the local authority. Mr Bhutta has not personally been in favour of academies, but now the school is applying to become part of a multi-academy trust. The trust would take over the running of Stepney Green and Clara Grant schools. Some parents have been campaigning against the proposed change. In particular, they are saying that they have not been properly consulted on what the change would mean for the school and the students. I'm here with Mr Bhutta, head teacher of Stepney Green Schools, to talk to him about the school's plan to become an academy. Mr Bhutta, when did you arrive in Stepney Green School? What was the school like when you arrived and how has it changed?
I've now been at Stepney Green for 11 years. I arrived here in 2006, September 2006, and Stepney Green School had been through a bit of a checkered history. It's come out of its low point, it had been in special measures. However, there were still issues for us to address. Attainment was still low, achievement was not as high as it should have been. In fact, on the first day I came to this school, my first experience of the children was after lunch. I saw about 40, 50 children jumping over the fence and running down the road. And it was clear to me then that not all the children here were totally engaged in their learning. But that was put to rest very, very quickly. And I'm glad to say now we are one of the highest performing schools. We're above national in terms of attainment and progress, and behaviour for learning is outstanding.
Why have you changed your mind on academies and why do you believe this new structure is now right for Stepney Green School?
You are right to say that I always question the role of academies in education and learning. But however, I did listen to all points of view. My primary role at Stepney Green is to look to the future of this school for these students. The role of academies are changing. So many schools nationally and within this borough are now becoming academies. I see the future of academisation being the main vehicle of how learning standards and education will be delivered. In fact, I can see in Tower Hamlets the situation will change very soon.
Will the new academy operate a selective admissions policy?
No, we are not a selective school. We operate within the guidance of Tower Hamlets, where students are banded according to ability between A, B, C and D bands, and we are allocated the children who have applied to our school. That will not change.
Will the school be converted into a mixed school?
The process of becoming an academy does not allow for a school to change its nature. We cannot become a mixed school by becoming an academy. The process does not allow it.
Will you employ unqualified teachers in the academy?
My primary objective is to make sure that children get the highest grades possible. I do not wish to employ any unemployed teachers. I wish to employ teachers who have got teaching qualifications. So the answer to your question is no, we will not be employing any unqualified teachers.
There has been a 200 signed petition that has been submitted to the school. In light of this, will you now carry out a meaningful consultation with parents?
I do question your use of the word meaningful, because I believe, and the guidance that I received from our lawyers, is that we have consulted. The petition you speak of, signed by 103 people, was handed in to school on the day of our governing body meeting. The deadline for handing in any comments had already passed. But we took those comments, the petition, to our governing body, and the governing body and I and our lawyers noted that people had been asked to sign a petition which was misleading. The information you questioned me about was, is the school going to be selective? Is it going to become mixed? Those things were on the petition, and that's what the people were signing. That was not true.
There are people demanding a vote on whether or not Stepney Green becomes an academy. Are you prepared to run this referendum?
The process of having a vote is not part of the process that the DFE outline. Our lawyers are aware of that. So here, we will not be having a vote, as people are asking. I have to also question, why a vote at Stepney Green School? No other school that have become academies has been asked to vote. So I'm just wondering from where this question is coming from.
Will the board members receive a salary? And will you become a CEO with an increased salary?
The board members are honourable, experienced and skilled people. They give up their time voluntarily. They will not be receiving a salary. My role, I am not going to be the CEO of the trust. My salary is within the scale that is agreed by the governance of the school, so I will not receive an inflated pay rise simply because the school has become an academy.
How has the education landscape changed in Tower Hamlets?
Tower Hamlets have had to deal with cuts from central government. Millions of pounds have had to be cut. Many people have lost their jobs. There had to be restructuring within the borough. And then the borough faced further cuts. We have lost many experienced officers who had in-depth knowledge of how education runs, and they were the ones who offered the schools direct support and challenge. They are no longer there. In fact, the secondary improvement team has been made redundant.
You said in the parents' consultation meeting that the borough is crumbling. What did you mean by that?
That relates to the last question you asked and the answer I gave, which is really to do with how can a borough sustain its impact with the cuts that have come its way, and without the officers who have got the right experience to challenge the schools and make sure that they are meeting the needs of the families.
Did Tower Hamlets Council give you the green light to apply for Stepney Green to become an academy after you told the borough of your intention?
Part of due process requires Stepney Green School and the Clara Grant Primary School to inform the right officers at the local authority. We have done so, both verbally and in writing. It is then their role to inform the appropriate officers within the borough.
At any point did the council question the consultation that you carried out?
On the 20th of July, I had a visit from the Mayor, John Biggs, and Councillor Amy Whitelock. Unfortunately, that was at the end of the process, rather than during or even at the start. However, when they came, they asked a similar question that you're asking now, and they left the school having seen the process that we had followed and seen the evidence that we put in front of them, and they left totally satisfied that we had followed due process and they had actually been given misinformation.
Did you consult with all primary schools in the local area? Did you consult with Ben Jonson Primary School?
We have many partnerships within the local authority at many different levels, but a direct email to all primaries and an email to all secondaries was sent. But also I have meetings with heads of many primary schools as part of my own partnership, and I inform those as well. And I have informed Ben Jonson of our intention to become an academy.
The last question. How do the staff feel about Stepney Green School turning into an academy?
Again, part of due process, we are required to consult with both teachers and support staff. We have done so. My staff, who are members of the National Union of Teachers, and here I also have GMB members and Unison members, they fully understand the reasons why we are moving towards becoming an academy. They support my decision in that direction.
Mr Bhutta, thank you for your time.
Pleasure.